So how exactly does this work? What do you mean you pay users?
So we are a fully featured social network with an embedded payment platform running on this indomitable philosophy where we feel royalties should be paid to content creators for the commercial use of their content, likeness, and image. It's not too terribly shocking to think about it that way. In general, industries do work like that, except for social. It's right now 100% inefficient, where the established platforms monetize to the tune of billions of dollars of revenue per month. The top platform generates over $640 million of EBITDA per month off of the backs of everybody's free content. Right? And we just think that there's a better way to do things. If you can figure out a model where you don't have to separate content value from the content creator, there might be a play there. And for us, we focus on distributing essentially the established players' models, which rely on advertising, sponsorships, and third-party application dollars, distributing that purchasing power en masse to everybody's accounts on our platform, and then giving them things to do with that money. Peer-to-peer payments, merchant services, credit, and the first thing we launched with a couple days ago was donations.
I mean, it's undeniably good for the content creators who are going to be making some sort of revenue back on whatever they're creating. But for you as a business, giving away, it is essentially giving away or giving back 90% of all ad revenues. You survive on just the 10% of the ad revenue?
Absolutely, because if you focus on the peer-to-peer payments, the credit platforms, and merchant services platforms, that's an incredibly capital-efficient model that we didn't have to pay $100 million of equity and get all these working capital lines to get into. It's 100% cash flowing in a sense, and we'd rather focus on our sustenance there rather than separating you, the content creator, or me, the proud dad who's a content creator, or the 50 Cents or the Carmelo Anthonys or any of these musicians and so forth who are on the platform, away from their content dollars. Everybody is impacted by this, from Disney, which prints 5 billion impressions on Facebook per month and gets absolutely nothing for it, and that's all their Star Wars and Marvel and Avengers and Cinderella and so forth, to Guns N' Roses and the brand that almost blew up the band and fortunately is still with us, and then somebody like myself. There's actually a better way to do it, and social is the last bastion of inefficiency, and we're applying the YouTube model to that.
Mark, you're an investor in this company?
Yes.
Why?
Because I really think that to me, just logically, why are you going to post if you don't get paid, right? If Sebastian's right, and you can go and he can bring enough economies, enough scale to his project, right? Why are you going to post on anybody else if you're not going to get paid to do it?
What if Facebook paid you for every like that you received or every friend that you recruited? Now, Facebook may not be that generous, but there actually is a site that is. Sue is the latest to jump into the social networking craze. The site launched last week, and it's based off a platform that gives 90% of its ad revenue back to users. Here to explain exactly how it works and how you could put more buck in your bank account, Sue founder Sebastian Sobchak. Hope I got that close. Sebastian, to give back 90%, I mean, that's obviously a very enticing lure. And we all hear about these YouTube stars, and everyone's starting to think about, hey, how can I make money myself? I mean, this sounds almost too good to be true.
It may sound like that, but it's actually true. So YouTube started this amazing thing where you have to reward the content creator, and they've created this global expanding business model that's been very successful. And offline, that sentiment has kind of reigned recently with kind of the federal appeals court decision regarding the NCA compensating people for their work, their likeness, and their image. And if you look at social today, it's the complete monetization of every user's content, likeness, and image that's 100% inefficient for the user. And so if it's...
Although, let's point out,
Sure.
users put their information on there voluntarily.
Sure.
They put it out there, so if somebody else is making money off of it, it's kind of tough to complain about that.
Well, they're like radio stations playing everybody's song and not giving them a royalty. That's the way we look at it. And we don't think that's the ideal. And so we're just making it a little bit more efficient. I'm not saying
Sounds like you're making it a lot more efficient.
Exactly.
90%. Is this, okay, would this be gross revenue or after a certain... revenues.
And so if you look at the billions of users that are being monetized to the tune of tens of billions of dollars annually, I mean, this is an amazing segue to be talking right after you're talking about Twitter and you know, tomorrow's Facebook earnings. I mean, there's a lot of money being created and not being, I guess, efficiently distributed to the content creator, which is basically every social user. So imagine distributing 90% away. It's not our content and it's not our interaction, so we think the lion's share should be given away.
Although the lion's share could be 51%.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. But if you give the lion's share away, which is what we think is fair, and you see startups actually giving the lion's share away, being brokers, for example, Uber, they only take a 20% transaction fee. Airbnb is in the 6 to 12% range.
Who are you going after, though? Okay, your platform goes after specifically maybe
content creators.
So you're going after Facebook. You're going after Twitter. I mean, you're going after every one of these guys. How does it exactly work? I'm on your platform.
Sure.
What am I doing on your platform that I'm generating all of this content and all of these followers?
If I could just interject one little statement, just if we're giving purchasing power to all these users, which are massively distributed, we'd rather play in the financial services space, giving peer-to-peer payments, merchant services, and credit, and playing in that market, which is 10 times larger than the digital advertising and mobile advertising market. And that's how we're going to form our sustenance.
Okay.
Because the content creation game, it's not our content and it's not our interaction. So give it away and play in the financial markets. And we can.
So you create a loyal following because they're getting paid for something they've never gotten paid for.
Their own
but then
content.
you have to have a certain level of trust for them to do these financial transactions through you.
Exactly.
I mean, and that would have to come through a certain period of time. I'm happy you're going to give me a few bucks for my tweets, but now you're telling me to pay my bills through you. That's a whole different kettle of fish.
And we don't start with paying bills. We start with donating to charities. So you can see all these amazing charities like Environmental Media Association, Charity Water, Food for the Hungry. These entities now can have donations or their message monetized, actually.
We've got to go. How are you feeling right now? You're out there. How's it feeling? I mean, people knocking down your doors?
Yes,
really,
absolutely. It's a tsunami actually of interest. So
I would imagine it is. I think it's an amazing idea, and I like the way you want to segue into the bigger picture where there's more money and everyone could be happy. Sue, TSU. It's pronounced Sue though. That's a website.
.co.
.co. Thanks a lot, Sebastian.
Thank you.